What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, in my last couple of videos, I think it was a couple of videos ago, I gave awards to some of the Summer League players, trying to, talk about the accomplishments they may have had, talk about some players I'm surprised about, some players I'm excited about, some players that I was disappointed in, and everything in between. And with that being said, I think it's now time to move over into the prediction side of things. I actually want to predict what I think are going to be the standouts for the Chicago Bulls heading into this upcoming season. Guys like the most surprising player, guys like the most exciting player, guys like the player that I think is going to produce the best season, and everything in between. And I want to do this just for a little bit of fun. Again, we're in the quiet stage of the NBA. The Olympics are currently going on, and again, it's not my job to really focus on the Olympics in terms of this channel, so I don't really want to talk about the Olympics every single day, now do I? But with that being said, I think it's quite important to kind of go through, some predictions, what I think could do well for the Bulls in a sense, and even disappointing stuff that I think the Bulls could go through as well. But before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and whether or not you believe, any of the things I'm about to say in terms of who's the most exciting player, who's going to be the surprise player, who's going to be the best player, who's going to be the most disappointing player. There's loads of awards I want to give. I'm basically going to give awards until we reach the 10-minute mark. That's the goal, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll see how many I could get through. But we'll talk about the negative first. And the negative award that I want to talk about first would be, the player that I think will disappoint Bulls fans the most. Now, I look at the Chicago Bulls roster, and honestly, firstly, we need to expect some disappointment in this upcoming season. With the Bulls going younger, getting rid of one of their best players in DeMar DeRozan, still potential to see LaVine and Vucevic go, which, by the way, I'm not going to give awards bad or good to any of those guys because I just don't know their future at the moment. You have to expect some disappointment. Not everything is going to be sunshines and rainbows for the Bulls next season. We probably will lose a lot of games. We probably will, see the inexperience of this team come to light in many, many ways. But, with that being said, I do have a guy in mind, and unfortunately he's a Chicago own. Today, I'm going to give Jevon Carter the, award of what I think will be the most disappointing player award. Now, is it because he's not good enough? Is it because, he can't step up? Well, look, those things remain to be seen. We could talk about last season all we like. Last season, Jevon Carter was amongst one of the most stacked guard lineups that the Bulls have seen. The problem with Jevon Carter this season is that hasn't really changed. So we've got, instead of Alex Caruso, we've got Josh Giddey in there. We still got LaVine in there. We added Chris Duarte in there. We just signed DJ Stewart on a two-way contract. There's just so much guard play in this team that even if Jevon Carter is good enough, let's just hypothetically assume Jevon Carter is good enough. And even if he can really step up for the Bulls with more opportunity in this team, that opportunity might still be hard to come by because of the excess amount of guards that we have. So even if Jevon Carter is good enough, I put him in the most disappointing award just because I feel like his opportunity to play will still be limited for this Bulls team. Not to mention, of course, last season we have to use that as, a little bit of an analysis of what could come into this season as well. And he very much disappointed last season. But of course, just like every player, it's going to take more than one season to get things together. Let's hope Jevon Carter proves everybody wrong and actually has a great season for the Chicago Bulls. Now, moving into the next one, the most surprising player. The player that I feel will surprise a lot of people. And I actually have this player labeled as someone that could surprise in good and bad ways. So it's not definitely a good award to give. It's kind of a neutral award that I would give it to. And the surprise player for me is going to be Lonzo Ball. I think Lonzo Ball could surprise a lot of people. Now, I mentioned good and bad. So what are the goods and bads of Lonzo Ball potentially surprising some people? Well, we'll talk about the good first because I think that's the most important thing and that's the thing I want to really direct my focus on. The good about Lonzo Ball is that he could surprise a lot of people, be ready by training camp, be ready by the regular season, and not only that, produce at a high level. That's the surprise if Lonzo Ball can get there. I think a lot of people are not expecting it. I think a lot of people are here to just, be patient with Lonzo Ball, take his time, don't rush him. Definitely don't play him 30 minutes a night because, again, we just don't know his circumstance, and we need to treat his situation with the utmost care compared to everybody else that we have on this team, because he is in a fragile state, in my opinion. So that's the surprise in the good way. I guess the surprise in the bad way is Lonzo Ball could potentially just show everybody that he's not up to the NBA standard anymore, and his career in the NBA could be over. That is the bad surprise. Again, pick your poison in many ways. I'm definitely not going to say it's a 50-50 or anything like that. But again, when you're looking at Lonzo Ball, you have to look at both sides. I think it's completely, one-dimensional if you go and look at Lonzo Ball as career over already, or completely one-dimensional if you look at Lonzo Ball and you see the exact same player as you saw in his first season. It has to be somewhere in the middle for me, but ultimately, one of those two things could potentially happen, and that needs to be, taken note of, and that's why he's my surprise player. But moving into the most exciting player, and this is a player I'm actually going to give an award to again. I gave it to him in the Summer League. Today, I'm going to give that award to Mateusz Buzelis again. Look, I'm not sitting here and telling you he's going to be our best player, but why I find him so exciting is A, he's got a bag on him, man. He can dribble. He's not a great shooter, but he has some highlight shooting plays. He's a massive athlete. He can dunk like no tomorrow. Caught some alley-oops, caught some mean posters. Those are all fantastic things. And he's exciting because he helps shape what our future could be. I haven't been this excited about a draft prospect probably since maybe Larry Marketing. I mean, Kobe White, of course, I'm a big fan of Kobe White now, but I wouldn't scream my excitement for Kobe White, even at the beginning of his seasons. Patrick Williams, everybody was doubting him from the very beginning. Ayo, I think a lot of people were excited about Ayo purely because he was a Chicago prospect in many ways, but again, not a lot of people saw a lot in Ayo, to be fair. And yeah, I really think Mateusz Buzelis is a guy that a lot of people thought was the right decision to select in the draft, is a guy that most people are excited about, and has shown in the Summer League why people are excited about him. And it helps dictate our future, which is even more exciting in its own right. So yeah, I'm very excited to see Mateusz Buzelis play in a Chicago Bulls uniform. We can move over into the next one. I guess the next one could be the player that I think will perform the best for the Chicago Bulls. So basically our best player. This one is, in my opinion, quite straightforward. Now, keep in mind, LaVine and Vucevic are not in this conversation for me, just because I don't know what their future may be. But of course, if they're going to play an 82-game season for the Bulls, you have to put them in that category, especially Zach LaVine. But assuming Zach LaVine is not going to be here for the 82-game season, I'm going to pick the one and only Kobe White. Kobe White has improved every single season, from his dribbling to his defending, to his playmaking, to the way that he could score the ball, to the way that he could get defenders, to bite on pump fakes, everything, even the small minute details. Kobe White has improved every season. And he had a very good season last season. A lot of NBA players now are looking at him as a potential up-and-coming superstar in the NBA. I want to see him live that through this upcoming season. So, I'm going to make the bold prediction that I think he'll be our best player next season. Will he be an all-star? I don't think so, just because I think this team won't be good enough to really have any all-stars on the team. But he could get pretty close, and maybe he could get some votes here or there. That's my prediction. But the last thing I want to give is the player that I think will be the most underrated. I'm going to give this one to, a player that we signed, but a player that I feel like not many people are expecting a lot from. I'm going to pick Jalen Smith, a guy that's a 40% three-point shooter, at least last season, and will get an opportunity to play hopefully a little bit more for the Bulls this season. I think he could be a guy that, again, can surprise a lot of people, but also a guy that I would value as underrated. Now, of course, there are many, many players that I haven't given awards to today. One of them is Ayo Dosunmu. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Ayo is going to have a breakout season as well, but again, I think Io's a wait and see type of person, because if he's coming off the bench, I think he could be a very good sixth man for the Bulls. If he's going to be starting, I think he's going to be probably the most consistent player we have there. So there's awards there for Io, but I'm going to leave that one out for now. What do you think? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.